Hi, I'm Anna Ross. Welcome to my yard. I'd like to introduce you to Delgado. This is Delgado. He's a 9-year-old gelding by uphill and out of a Riverman mare, which is actually quite unusual in dressage because he has no Donegal, Florestan, Jazz, Veltmeyer blood in him. As you can see, he's a very beautiful horse, and I'm very, very fond of him. He's just done his first Grand Prix. We wobbled through it together, but I think he's a very big talent for the future. He also has an array of tricks which make him very adorable. As you can see, he's good at kissing and biting, but only playing, obviously. He can put his own light on and off, and in the morning, in the winter, when the girls come into the yard, he hits his light switch and puts the light on for them so that we can all see him. He is a bit of a truck to lead around, to be absolutely honest with you. He's a bit of a bulldozer, but in a good way, because it means that he is afraid of absolutely nothing. He knows how big he is, and he knows he can handle pretty much anything. So this is Whitney, or Wilbur as we call him in the stable. He's owned by Jane Sewell, and he's actually by a show jumper called Sydney. He started his international career this year with some small international shows. He started out in Spain, then we took him for a bit of life experience to some bigger ones, and then he's just done the Nations Cup at Hickstead on his first British team, which was very nice. He had just below 70%, mostly because I overpushed him in the last trot extension because it... I think he was saying, "You idiot," then, because it was all going very well, and to be honest, I think I got a little bit greedy, and I had a very good feeling, but that's okay. So yes, he's just below 70%, and he's going to spend the winter training, going to a few more shows, and I think he will be really super next year. He is very much a work in progress still, even though he's an international Grand Prix horse. It is his first year.
Anna, how did you get involved in dressage in the first place?
I got involved in dressage really pretty much by accident. I was brought up in London, so in a fairly inner city part of London, and I absolutely loved animals, all animals really. And when I was 9, my mum took me to the local riding school for a riding lesson as my 9th birthday present. And things sort of escalated from there. I became a very keen sort of pony helper, but it was all very at the local riding school, but it was all on a really kind of basic level. And we didn't have funds for me to own a horse or anything like that. So, in fact, I didn't own a horse, so I was 26. So there was no ponies, juniors, young riders, anything like that. But anyway, as time went on, I did my BHS exams, as you sort of do if you work in a riding school. And I was pretty hopeless at the jumping side, and I went to take my BHS exams, and one of the examiners took me to one side afterwards and said, "Well, you know, we've passed you, but to be honest, we don't think you really know what you're doing. You need to get some training." And I didn't know anybody who did training, so I kind of said, "Well, will you train me then?" Anyway, the long story, but I ended up going to Talland, where Pammy Hutton and Adam Kemp were very, very kind to me. They had me, well, basically I didn't pay, whatever basis that is. They were very, very good to me. And I rode my first dressage test when I was 23 from Talland. I can remember the horse quite well. He'd done some sort of damage to his owner, and it was necessary that I took him to West Wilts in order to try and tame him a little bit. So I did my first 2 novice tests at West Wilts when I was 23.
You've had an exceptionally good career in dressage. You've ridden at championship level. You've ridden at all the major shows throughout the world. Why does dressage still fascinate you and drive you to do better in the sport?
I think because you never learn how to do it. This is something that you're endlessly trying to improve on, and it is that sort of pursuit of perfection. And I guess as with all sort of perfectionists, sometimes you get a little bit addicted to something that you can't. You're always grabbing after it. You can't ever quite achieve it. And also, I think the real fascination for me is training all sorts of different horses up to Grand Prix level, and that's something I find incredibly interesting, and the different characters of the horses, and trying to see what we can what you can do with all these different types. I've always been given horses to ride. I don't really choose my own horses. They tend to be ones that I've been, that I've been given or have been suggested to me. And actually, I quite like that. I think that's really an interesting way to come about thinking about riding at Grand Prix level.
What qualities do you need as a rider? How much can you learn, and how much is natural talent, do you think?
I think there's certainly an element of natural talent. I think you have to be averagely talented and work incredibly hard. I think a lot of you can become very, very good that way. Obviously, the best rider is the incredibly talented one who also works incredibly hard. And I think a general sort of feel, a bit of an affinity with animals is really, really important. I think being able to understand when a horse is happy and sad or scared or sometimes just naughty and rude, having that bit of kind of natural insight and an empathy with them that means you do the right thing at the right time definitely helps.
What do you wish you'd known when you were 21?
That I would train another one. And I think that was one of the most difficult things. I think with my first Grand Prix horse, I sort of couldn't believe my luck that I had this amazing horse, and of course I thought that horse was the be all and end all of my of my life. And of course he went to be sold, and that was really upsetting for me at the time. And I wish that I had more confidence in myself at an earlier age. And therefore being a little bit better at letting go. Nowadays, I think I have the confidence that can train more horses, and therefore I'm not so nervous.
Thank you very much.